Hi, let's do a little get ready with me while I talk about my story with lupus. My story with lupus began around the summer of 1990. I was 24 years old, living my life, working, and living a pretty happy life. In the summer, I started getting very tired and achy all over, and I noticed that I started requiring more sleep, more rest, and that everyday things that I was doing were harder and harder to do. Towards late summer, I started feeling like so much pain in my joints, and literally one day I woke up and I couldn't move. So I began what I call the doctor dance. I started seeing all kinds of doctors and having every test you can imagine to test to see what was wrong with me. It was quite scary. You know, you're 24 years old, almost 25. You're really just beginning your adulthood. I had gone to college when I was 20. I worked as a nurse for a long time, and by then I was working in an office, and even just a sitting office job was just too hard to handle. So I had to stop working and find out what was wrong with me. I was told all kinds of things by doctors, like, oh, it's stress, it's allergies, it's your imagination. That was a wonderful one. There wasn't a lot of testing done back then to determine if one had lupus. And there was a lot of varied opinions with the doctors. I finally went to a doctor recommended by a family friend, and he kind of went back and forth of whether I had lupus or had fibromyalgia. When I first started seeing him, I was on pretty high doses of prednisone to try to bring my inflammation or the inflammation in my system down. He increased it, and it still didn't help. I just kept getting weaker and weaker. By the time I was 25, I was in a wheelchair full-time, still seeing doctors. I swore we explored all the doctors in the Chicagoland area that could help in any way, shape or form. And I still went back to this other doctor, and he started reducing the dosage of prednisone, started me on some other medication, and I slowly started feeling better. Not better as in before I started feeling sick, but I could walk with help. I went to physical therapy, and it wasn't that I couldn't walk because my brain was telling me that we don't know how to walk anymore. It was that I was so weak. So with physical therapy, it helped a lot. Little by little, I started improving, and we went on the belief that I had fibromyalgia. So for many years, I took medication for fibromyalgia. Life had a lot of ups and downs, as everyone's does. But I always had a problem with keeping up with everyone else. I required more rest, more sleep. And little by little, I started thinking, well, this is probably just maybe getting older, even though I was only like in my 20s and early 30s when all this was still happening. Life went on, and I felt better in a lot of ways, and I just kind of got used to this life that, okay, I have fibromyalgia, and I'm just going to need to rest more, take certain medications, and watch my body. I started getting sun irritations on my skin from the sun when I moved down here to Florida, and I was told so many different things. Never once was I told, well, you might have lupus and it's irritating your skin. You have sun sensitivity. Then in 2008, I was getting married and we were planning a destination wedding. And once again, I started feeling worse. I started feeling sick, very low energy. And I just thought, well, it's all the excitement of the wedding. We went on our honeymoon, had a wonderful time, had our destination wedding. Before that, I started noticing a lot more joint pain. So we went to my new doctor that was my husband's primary doctor, and I told him about how I was feeling. I told him how they thought that I had lupus years ago. And he looked me right in the face and said, I think you do have lupus. So he sent me to the doctor, a new doctor, I should say, and he was a rheumatologist. By that time, in 2008, there were more sophisticated tests, but it still was a long process to find out what I really had. After a few months of testing and going to the doctors and doing more tests and ruling out all kinds of things, my new rheumatologist told me that I had indeed had lupus. He explained to me that because I had it before and went into a remission where my body, the lupus wasn't active, so I wasn't having all the severe symptoms. He said that because I went into remission once, that I would not go into a remission again. This was really kind of sad news because, I just got married and I was planning my future with my husband. But I knew with the love of my husband and my family that I would get through this. And I have. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs with my disease. I've been on chemotherapies orally. I've been on infusions orally, infusion medications, oral medications. I still go up and down. My current thing is that I get a lot of fatigue. My blood work can go from really great to not so great. That's what it is when you're a lupus patient, and it's very frustrating. But over the years, I've learned to be patient with myself, to ask questions, and to be an advocate for myself and for others. So that's why I am sharing whatever I know and really feel about having this disease this month. And periodically through the year, I talk about it too. My life has changed a lot, but most of my adult life, I've been searching for the answers. So in August of 2008, when I finally got a definite diagnosis and I had hit all the markers on all the different tests, I was relieved to get that diagnosis because I wasn't wondering anymore. I knew what I had and I knew what I had to do. So I hope that you enjoyed this little story. It's a very long story and I've condensed it a lot because we only have so much time here to talk, for me to talk. And I hope you're doing well. If you're going through something like I did and still do, I'm right there with you. Keep asking those questions and keep telling the doctor something's wrong. Keep going, even if you have to go to every doctor that you can think of to get the right answer. Advocate for yourself. I hope you're having a great day, and don't ever forget, you're not alone, and you're so important. Take care, and I'll see you soon.